Hey YouTube, Violet Artisan here. Welcome to my list of top 10 things I like and dislike about crocheting. I've decided to split it into 5 things I like and 5 things I dislike about the hobby. Let's get the show on the road. The fifth thing I like, the variety of colors. Whenever I go shopping, my favorite place to check out is the craft area. I'll look at all of the yarn and decide what colors would make a good project. Then I scoop up whatever I want to use, making sure I have enough materials. I sometimes buy too much, but it never goes to waste. Fifth thing I dislike, the price of materials. Over time, I've noticed that the price of yarn has gone up dramatically. Yarn that used to cost, let's say, $2.50 now costs almost twice as much for the same amount of material. I either have to look for something cheaper or go without. It's not all bad though. The cheaper yarn works just as well, if not better. The fourth thing I like, compliments. People often tell me that I'm talented and that I do good work on my dolls and various other projects. When I get complimented, I feel like my skills are validated and my self-esteem goes up. Sometimes I'm unsure how to deal with a lot of compliments, even though I know people mean well. Does that make me weird? The fourth thing I dislike, comments. Now, I don't hate constructive criticism. If there's something that needs to be fixed when it comes to my projects, please tell me. I'll fix what needs it unless I intended to do what I did in the first place. The kinds of comments I hate are, "Oh, those dolls will never sell," or even, "You didn't do this or that right." Those don't make me feel very good as an artist. I also get mildly bugged when people confuse crocheting and knitting. I don't get mad when they ask questions because maybe they don't know the difference. An easy way to remember is crocheting, hook, 1 tool. Knitting, needles, 2 tools. I don't mind having to answer questions, but if your comments aren't constructive, positive, or helpful in any way, please keep them to yourself. The third thing I like, freedom of creativity. When I make a doll, I start off by deciding several things. I decide what color, animal, or cartoon character it'll be, if it'll be holding anything, and what materials I'll be using. I can make something like a cat wearing glasses and reading a book if I want to. If I'm not making a doll, I still enjoy the freedom to choose what I want to make and what colors it'll be. I'm a bit more limited when I make something for someone else because it has to be to their standards. The third thing I dislike, false hope and promises. I absolutely hate it when people say, "Oh, I know someone that'll just love your work. I'll be sure to spread the word and you'll get a lot of people wanting to buy your stuff." Like a gullible dope, I buy into their words. What do I get in return? The sweet, disappointing sound of crickets. I also get annoyed when people tell me to try selling my crafts. Although I have yet to try selling my wares at actual craft shows, I've tried selling things at a few tag sales where I've had my own table. All I got from that was having to sell my stuff at sickeningly low prices, hearing people complain about crafts at a tag sale, and sunburns from sitting out in the sun all day long. I've even tried Etsy, but I couldn't figure out that website. The second thing I like, seeing the finished product. Making a doll or other project can take me anywhere from several hours to several months to make, depending on 2 things. One is the difficulty of a project, and the second is how motivated I am to work on it. Being overzealous with crocheting isn't really good for my hands, as I've been told I'll be arthritic by the time I'm 50, or that when I get older my hands will cramp up and I'll have to give up crocheting completely. Don't worry, I do take breaks if my hands hurt. When I finally finish a project, I feel so happy that the aching fingers almost seem worth it. The second thing I dislike, errors and mishaps. This one's a bit of a nitpick for me because I do know that everyone makes mistakes. Sometimes I'll miscount stitches in a row, or on occasion my crochet hook will break. Other times I'll be crocheting and my yarn will fray or snap apart. There are times when I'm making a doll and stuffing will peek through. I've had times where I've stabbed myself with sewing needles or burned my fingers with hot glue when working on the doll's finer details. While these things are a minor inconvenience, I'm still happy doing what I do. I don't plan on stopping anytime too soon. The first thing I like is the entertainment value. There's a saying out there that goes, "Do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life." I feel that rings true for doing arts and crafts in general. When I'm working on a project, I really enjoy it. I've gone to bed at late hours because I absolutely have to get something done. I've been called a machine more than once because of how fast I work when I'm motivated, but hey, would you rather me spend a lot of time on a project and have it come out well, or would you rather I rush through a project and have it look bad? The number one thing I dislike is requests for freebies and being sent links. I absolutely 100% despise being asked to make freebies. It's like people have no understanding of how much materials cost and how much manual labor goes into each and every project. I also hate it when someone makes me feel like I wasted my time making something. Here's a prime example. One time I made a doll of a cartoon character for a relative's daughter because they didn't like the ones sold in stores. It took me 2 weeks to get the request done, and I was really proud of the finished product. Unfortunately, my happiness tanked when their daughter had to be forced to thank me for it. She even went as far as to remark that the doll smelled. I used paint for detail work, but I'm trying to use other detailing methods on future dolls. Sometime later, I was given a laundry list of things I didn't do right, such as the arms and legs not being long enough or the doll being too fat. I didn't even get paid for my work, which upset me even more. Ever since then, I've really cut back on requests and I only make freebies on 2 occasions. One is on Christmas and the other is on someone's birthday. If you're not getting a year older or it's not the birthday of Jesus, I will not make freebies. You want something I made? Fine, but you have to pay for it in some way, shape, or form. I also hate being sent links for patterns. I may be able to crochet, but I certainly can't do every project I'm shown. It infuriates me when people see a random pattern and say, "Oh, Katrina can make that. It'll be done in no time flat." Because once again, a lot of time and manual labor goes into each project that I do. There were times where I'd try to do a project that someone sent me the pattern for, only to have to figure out my own way to finish it because I couldn't make sense of the directions. Other times the finished result would look terrible. It really makes me angry when I get asked to make something huge or complex for free and the person asking for it wants it in a short amount of time. No! I cannot and will not make you a 2 foot tall doll in a few days with no pay. A doll that size can take me almost a month to make, even when I'm working several hours a day on it. I want to make a living crocheting things, and I will not make a freebie just because I'm asked to. Well, there's my top 10 lists of things I like and dislike about crocheting. Now for a poem. Roses are red, I will give you that. I hand make plush dolls that all come out fat. So if you don't like them, they won't sit on your shelf. Pick up a crochet hook and make them yourself. Take care and ta-ta for now.